Is a truffle sweet or savory or both? Are you sure you know the difference? Is it candy or something like a mushroom? Does it even matter as long as you like it? Or maybe just eat it with relish? And exactly what is relish? Such are the troubles and tribulations of host and new foodie Margaret McSweeney, who's eating her way through life happily, innocently, and always with a great deal of humor and a lot of fun. Join her for adventures in the world of everything to do with food, gourmet, green, and great. Now, here's Margaret.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Truffles and Tribulations, the adventures of a new foodie. And that's me, your host, Margaret McSweeney, here on webtalkradio.net. Due to popular request, actually, we are relaunching the brand as we speak today to go back to Kitchen Chat. So the new name of the show is going to be Kitchen Chat with Margaret McSweeney, and I can't think of a better person to launch this with than Chef Jaime Laurita. I am actually here in his kitchen today, and it is just such an honor, and I cannot wait to introduce you to this culinary rock star and ambassador of good taste. Welcome to my Kitchen Chat with Margaret McSweeney, Chef Jaime.
Thank you so much. Everything you said is so wonderful. And I got to tell you, it's a pleasure having you here. I love having people in my home who have the energy that you do. Oh. And again, that's how I start every recipe, is with a good intention and a good loving start. So I'm excited to have you here.
And it's such a pleasure to be here, and we have so much to talk about. Just a quick little thing. If anyone's interested in meeting Chef Jaime, you will have that opportunity at a Wings event tomorrow night in the Chicago suburbs. Click on wingsprogram.com for information and last-minute availability on tickets. He is going to be the featured celebrity chef at this wonderful event, which truly does so much here in the Chicago suburbs for women and children who need another chance in life after domestic violence. And this is just part of the wonderful person that Chef Jaime is. He has such a heart for charity. So thank you for doing that for the women of Wings.
It's absolutely an honor. You know, I have a very soft place in my heart for women. My mom is a very special person, and she's a mother of 11 children, and I know how hard it can be for moms today with 1 and 2 children in this economy trying to make it, and especially if there's an abusive factor to it. I just think that it's not fair for these women to be let down the way they have been let down, and obviously, it's extremely difficult to raise a family in this economy. So my heart's in it, and I'm super excited to be there. I can't tell you how grateful and how excited I am to be the host of this culinary event. Again, I think they picked the right guy, and I'm super excited to be giving a little bit of an inspiration along with some great chefs that are there working hard to deliver some wonderful food to the guests. You'll be having a wonderful night tasting the culinary, the talent that's going to be there is going to be amazing. Great wine, great people, and great fun. So come and see me, shake my hand, and we'll have a good night.
Definitely. So I will provide a link, listeners, for more information of how you can meet Chef Jaime in person. And, he is just delightful. And we have so much to cover. I mean, your life journey has been amazing and within the culinary, the style, the everything. It's just been so incredible to follow. And it's like you have the whole package with the not only the food, but the style, the ambience. And I know you have a fun little tagline for this too. It's about the
it's about the food, the mood, and the music. And what I do is really special, because when you apply yourself to your food, the intention should always be good as far as stepping up to the stove. But for me, it's more than that. It's about the food you eat and prepare, the mood and the decor that you surround yourself with, the friends and people you surround yourself with, and the music you listen to. So in all, if you have all 3 things in tune, I believe that you can live a harmonious life. And
I love that.
For me, having these surroundings, I always have my candles lit and my music on, and the pillows just so. And I know a lot of people don't have the time to do that, but you can do it so simply and still gain the message of what I'm saying.
Yes, I love that. And speaking of music, you have been quite involved in the music scene. You actually were with Madonna and Sting and Sarah McLachlan and so many others. I'd love to hear about what you did with these celebrity rock stars.
Yeah, music has always been my muse. Ever since I was a little boy, I used to put on shows in front of my family, and I used to sing into a wooden block and perform like the Donnie Marie, show in front of my whole family. Music has always been the thing that saved me. And I would always escape into the music. I love to dance. I'm a great dancer, and I love to perform. And I don't have a bad singing voice at that. I'm not going to do it today, but I'm not afraid to step up to the microphone in any way, shape, or form. Music is a powerful venue. It's a conduit. And what I do is I work for the biggest celebrities in the music industry, and both from a style and food perspective, I'm delivering comfort and love through my food. And I really focus on giving them a home away from home. For example, for Madonna, I was able to help design and manufacture her entire dressing room and give her that home away from home that she required. I mean, when you get to that level of celebrity, there's a lot of expectation from the business aspect and also from your fan base. What I do is I give them sort of a womb of perfection and deliver them everything that they need to go out there and deliver to that expectation. So everybody you can imagine in the music business, all the different genres of music, from Barry Manilow and Josh Groban all the way through the rock, Kiss, Aerosmith, into the big giant icons of Sting and Madonna, and everyone in between. I mean, I've written a cookbook with Sarah McLachlan.
Yes, I can't wait to talk about that one.
Right.
And when you go on the road with these celebrities and you try to give them a piece of home, their own home, and do you collaborate and do you ask, what are you looking for? I mean, what kind of study goes behind the scenes for that?
I've been called a food psychic, a mood psychic. Basically what I do is I focus on the lyrics and the story.
Okay.
And I read about, most musicians at that level are clearly writing about their life through their song. So I really focus on the lyrics and I look at where they are in their life, and I basically ask, maybe it's God. I say, what does this person, or what do I feel that they need?
Right.
And more so than not, Steven Tyler said it best when I was on the Oprah show. He said, Jaime, Laurita will feed to your needs.
Oh.
And I just study them every step of the way. And it's about delivering the grilled cheese sandwich and the tomato soup. I ask them the one question: tell me the thing your grandmother used to make you, or your mom. Your comfort food. And if it's raining out and it's cold and we're in the middle of the tour and I know that artist is, missing home and their family and their kids, Jamie's going to deliver the grilled cheese sandwich and the tomato soup. That's what it's all about.
And I have to ask, is there a secret ingredient in your grilled cheese and tomato soup?
I always say the same thing, and maybe it's cheesy, part of the pun, but it's I never leave out the love, ever.
Oh.
I'm a very sensitive person. I always have been. And I'm always injecting the love into everything that I do. So I truly care about these people.
Yes.
In a business that they're in, there's a lot of people around them. There's a lot of, financial involved. There's a lot of expectation, like I told you. But I really honestly care about their well-being. And I forget about my own a lot of the time, and I step up to the plate for them. And that's basically why they hire me, because I have that level of nurture.
Yes.
And it's really, in my case, it's a lot of nurture versus nature. I've been through it all. I can tell you stories about thunderstorms like we're having today. And, I've seen the world 10 times over, and I've learned a lot of things about people and about love. So never leave that out of your life. You always have to have love in your life. And, and really, that's my secret weapon.
Oh, I love that. Love the secret weapon. And I know we've been flooded, listeners, with your questions via social media, and I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. Lynn had asked, when you're creating an environment for the stars, how do you merge your brand with their taste? And once you had a vision, how did you carry it out?
Lynn, that's a great question. I think any good designer, really good designer, it's just my opinion. It's one thing to put your flair and your flavor on something. I think a good designer incorporates the desires of the client. So what I do is I treat everything like a recipe, and I always add them in.
I love that.
So yeah, that's something that's very important. I don't want anything to, it's really not about me. It's about them, and I'm basically the conduit and the vehicle to giving them what they don't have the time to get for themselves.
Right.
So for me, it's a very simple recipe. I follow what it is that, first of all, I follow my heart. Secondly, I study them and what they love. And then I just put it in perspective. And then what I add in of myself is the attention to detail.
Yes, and detail, it's all in the details as well. Now, I'm just curious, do you actually travel on the tour bus with them? And is the kitchen actually in the tour bus and you're preparing in the kitchen?
Right, I get
like?
that question a lot. And honestly, it changes every time. If I'm cooking specifically for a celebrity, then I follow them, and most of the time I'll cook through the hotel that they're staying in.
Okay.
Most of the time I do that, and then there's also the kitchen setup that happens backstage for, let's say, for the Rolling Stones or for the Aerosmith band. I would set up a full-on kitchen every day, and then it gets a little bit difficult because you're only as good as your kitchen. I would have to build that and take it down every day. I never really have cooked on a tour bus because the kitchens on a tour bus are very small. But I've kept things in the refrigerator on a tour bus, I could tell you that.
And what do you keep in the refrigerator on the tour bus?
It was funny. It's organics are a very powerful thing that I'm a big supporter of. And years ago, getting these esoteric organic ingredients were difficult to find. I'm so happy to see them come into the mainstream, and now organics are sort of in style.
Yes.
Every market you go into, you see a huge organic section, but I was the guy that used to carry them in bus tubs underneath the tour bus where everyone else would have their luggage.
I love that.
Yeah, so.
Organic baggage. That's
exactly.
That's the way to go.
And my organic baggage.
I love that. Well, we just have so many topics to talk about. I mean, your culinary journey, the amazing story that you shared with Oprah, and I can't wait to chat about that. The incredible product lines you have going on. We've got lots of questions coming in for that as well. And just, how you can relate to the home chef, the busy mom who's preparing food for the meal and to make things extra special with that extra style. But first, if we could go to your experience with Oprah and sharing your story with her.
It was a great thing that had happened with Oprah. Someone told me that it was so difficult to get on the Oprah show. You have to know somebody. It's going to take you forever. All these things you have to go through, blah, blah, blah. I'm not that guy to tell them something like that to. I love a challenge. And what I did simply was I got on the internet and I went on Oprah's website and I wrote her a letter. And I've always been a humongous fan of Oprah. And I love her story. I'm a guy who loves an honest story.
Yes.
And I love from where she came. For me, I knew I was going to be on the Oprah show. It was just a matter of time. I wrote her a heartfelt letter about the topic was why I love my job, coolest job in the world. And I said, you know what? I really love and I respect my job. I'm going to tell her about it. Literally wrote the email at 3 a.m. and by 10 a.m. the next day, her producers called me.
Wow.
So never listen to a negative comment. Someone told me it was impossible. I made it possible.
Yes.
So that experience was wonderful. Oprah had literally flashed my culinary life story before my eyes. And the most amazing thing was Steven Tyler, via satellite from Hawaii on vacation, sang a song about me on the Oprah show, which to this day just makes me thrilled that I was able to work with a man like that. He taught me how to allow my freak flag to fly. And what basically that means in a nutshell is how to be myself. When I first met him, he sang a song to me about, Jamie's got a frying pan. And he said to me, you know what? You need to loosen up. And he was right. I was there with my Culinary Institute of America hat on and toque, and he removed it. And he said, you know what? You've got a lot of energy and you've got a lot of goodness in your heart. You need to show that, and you need to show it 100% you. And that was the Oprah experience. My cookbook was exposed on the show. And I don't think I'm done with Oprah yet. I've been trying to reach out to the networks.
Yes.
I have a show concept that I think would be tremendous on the OWN network. So I'm going to go for that.
That sounds great. And you go for it. And I'm sure our listeners will be cheering along the way. And we'll make sure we provide a link when it's on. We'll just
Fantastic. I appreciate
definitely do that. And the other, it just was so amazing to hear, too, Chef Jaime, that you started your career with $100 that was borrowed.
Right. Well, I had a lot of support from my parents way back when I was in culinary school. But I think, my family, I come from a large Italian family on the East Coast. I think that they had a different thought process as to where I was going to be. Mm-hmm. And for me, I had this other dream, and I kept this true to my dreams. So after making a lot of decisions, coming back from Italy, where I was, traveling on scholarship from the Culinary Institute of America, I decided that I really wanted to make it on my own. Mm-hmm. And although my parents and my dad especially were very instrumental in supporting me,
yes,
I needed to feel like this was all me. So I packed my bags, I got off the plane from Italy, and I decided that I was going to come to Chicago, which I did my externship at Spiaggia.
Oh,
and
great.
It was a wonderful experience.
Yes.
And I just love this city. I knew, it's like Sinatra said, my kind of town, right? I knew that, this was the city of big shoulders, and I have pretty big shoulders. And I thought, you know what, I can make it here.
Yes.
And I've been making it ever since. And I love, love, love the city of Chicago. And I'm very grateful for its energy. And I feel like, yes, I made that dream happen with basically $100 and no place to live. And I had a plane ticket, and I went for it. And that is a true story. I basically didn't really have a place to live. And I found one through a friend of mine through the Spiaggia experience. And I never looked back. And the beauty of it all is that, I never took a dime from anybody since that moment. And I've made it 100% on my own. And I really feel like, I've lived the American dream, and I'm really wanting to inspire so many people, especially going into this Wings event.
Yes.
It's miracles happen every day. And if you pray and you're a good person, good things will happen.
Yes.
And it's the process. The process just happens. And although sometimes, there were hurdles and there were turns in the road, I never stopped believing. Never. And that's the secret ingredient to my success, is that you always have to believe in your dream.
Oh, I love that. And listeners, he's just so inspiring. And you're going to have to follow Chef Jaime on Twitter and Facebook. I love the tweets, the tweets and eats he send out with just positive quotes and thoughts for the day, along with great tips and recipes, and definitely visit the website as well.
Yeah, my website, chefjamielaurita.com. There's two of them out there, jamielaurita.com and chefjamielaurita.com. Go to chefjamielaurita.com, especially now there's a great deal on my Bella Boy Moscato Spring.
Yes, which we have to talk about. Oh, listeners, you've got to find whoever carries his new products. And let's talk about that for a little bit. Pasta. Right. Some great pasta. And also, I need to definitely get this as well, this olive oil spray. Because, I've used, a spray can for my attempts at cooking in my kitchen. And I've always felt that maybe I should go more organic. Right. And now tell us about this olive spray.
I have a great line of products, everything from wines and everything imported from Italy. But, I'm not just slapping my name on things. I'm creating all of the logos. Yes. I have full creative control. And one of the main things that I'm making sure is that it's 100% great quality.
Yes.
My olive oil sprays that you're talking about are infused. I have a truffle from Italy, infused olive oil. I have a infused garlic oil spray, lemon spray, and I'm running the gamut of flavors. But I'm starting with those three. And these sprays can be used. They're so versatile.
Yes.
They can be used while you're grilling. They could be used as finishing sprays on pastas, on for dipping breads.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of different uses. You can use them to saute in lieu of using the canned sprays that are not really 100% natural.
Right,
Mine are
exactly.
vegan friendly and gluten free. Everything that I'm doing.
Great.
My pastas are bronze cut pastas, which are higher quality pastas, all imported from Italy. And the reason why I chose to do the bronze cut is because A, they're higher quality, but when you buy the cheaper, the less expensive quality pastas in the store, the pasta sauce doesn't really stick to the pasta. It sort of rolls off.
Oh.
So there's a lot of pasta companies out there that don't use the bronze cut method.
And I'm sorry, what is a bronze cut?
It's a machine.
Oh,
it's basically
okay.
it's basically a machine that cuts the pasta and it leaves it looking porous. So when you're cooking the pasta, it will swell a little bit, and then the sauce will actually infuse itself into the pasta. So you're tasting the pasta is number one going to be really tasty because it's like a sponge absorbing your sauce.
Yes.
And I've got, like I said, I've got every cut of pasta. I use the basics, the spaghetti, the bucatini, the linguine, the rigatoni, but they're all the classic Italian pasta cuts, and they're all super high quality. And I have an olive oil, a balsamic vinegar, I have a red wine vinegar, I have a Prosecco, a Chef Jaime Laurita Prosecco, a rose-infused Moscato called Bello Boy, and a red wine, and lots of other things. I'm super excited about this product line. Why? Because it's giving people the ability to be the rock star in their kitchen.
Oh, I love that, to be a rock star in your own kitchen.
And communicate with me.
Yes.
You can buy my products and talk to me. You can talk to me directly via Twitter and social media. I want to talk to you. I want to make you a celebrity in your kitchen.
Oh, I love that. And that is such a fabulous concept. And I have so many questions from listeners who are looking for specific help. Lisa has 2 kids, all on organic and gluten-free diets. And she was saying, what are some good meals to get the kids eating more veggies?
That's a great question, too. I have a couple of tricks. One real quick one, as far as, kids love mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
let's face it.
Sure.
You can get some organic cauliflower. You can just poach your cauliflower and get it to a soft state and incorporate that into your mashed potatoes. Do a mashed potato cauliflower mix. Kind of hide it, but don't tell them about it. You know what I mean? The minute you tell them that they're eating cauliflower, it's game over. I also do that with, say, an edamame. Everybody loves guacamole. Kids love guacamole.
Definitely.
There's a lot of protein in soybeans and in edamame. What I do is I get them and I use the same method with guacamole. I'll just puree that into my guacamole. A lot of things can be masked, and kids talk to other children about what they're eating. So you don't want to, I'm not saying hide it from your children, but if they like it, maybe then you can start doing things like with carrots too.
Right.
Pureeing the same thing with carrots. You can puree carrots into I make a wonderful carrot butter.
A carrot butter?
Sesame oil, carrots. Make it look like peanut butter and add it into a pita, and use it as a dipping with vegetables. It's wonderful.
Wow.
Just soft mashed carrots, a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of peanut butter, and a little bit of maybe sesame oil, and just season it to taste. I'm telling you, it's wonderful. I spread it on sandwiches. Great. That's the other thing, too. I have a million ideas.
Yes. Yes. It's amazing, truly.
It's all about having fun in the kitchen with your kids.
Right.
And incorporating, show your kids how to cook.
Right.
A lot of people that I meet don't have the time for cooking, and I understand that. But it's so important to instill, like for me as a child, coming from 11 children, my mom, my grandmother, my aunts were always in the kitchen, and I was the world's largest kitchen voyeur. I never really said anything, but my eyes were peeled to the kitchen.
Wow.
And I downloaded all of that. And they had fun in the kitchen. A kitchen could be a fun place.
Yes.
So get your
it
kids
can
in
also
there.
be a scary place at my house.
Okay, so scary. You said something, and I have to address that.
Yes.
When you say it's scary, that's what you're serving. Don't serve scary.
Okay. All right.
Step up to the stove with confidence.
Okay.
You can do it. Cooking is simple. It's not rocket science. I've always said that. there's simple things that you can do that can make you really approach the kitchen with an open mind. And, I say cook with reckless abandon. It's not that hard. If I can do it, anybody could do it. Believe me, I'm not. Some people have called me a kitchen genius. Maybe it just comes easy. I'm not really sure. But most of my recipes are so simple.
Yeah.
I make them look pretty and I build them up to kind of inspire people. That's how sometimes I never read the recipes, but I look at the pictures.
Yes.
And that inspires me. That inspires me to do, my art. But really, cooking is simple. Don't be afraid of it.
Okay, thank you. I will lose the fear. I am going to cast out the fear of cooking, and the Barrington Hills Fire Department will not come over again.
No, never
after
again.
My salmon.
I'll give you a couple of quick cooking lessons.
Yes.
You'll be on your way.
Oh, I would love that. Oh my goodness, I would absolutely love that. A couple of other questions. Actually, Rebecca, who you will meet at the Wing, she's the executive director. Her son, her 12-year-old son, loves to cook and has such a passion about being a chef, and he's really getting a lot of grief from his classmates. And so she was asking, do you have any recommendations and suggestions in terms of
Absolutely.
what he can do?
That's music to my ears.
Great.
I was that boy. So the first thing is you want to make sure that he's passionate about cooking. Mm-hmm. The cooking industry is a beautiful industry to be in, but maybe it's not as there's a lot of opportunity out there. But you want to make sure that he's honing in on his passion, what he wants to do. Focus. Mm-hmm. Whether it's baking, whether it's the savory side or the sweet side, there's a lot of opportunity now. Chefs are hot.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
I don't think when you say grief, is it because people are making fun of it because he wants to be a chef?
Exactly.
I went through a little bit of that. You know what? That shall pass. If he's really truly passionate about cooking, then don't let anything stop you.
Great.
I would love to give him a cooking lesson. That's my favorite thing to do is I work with Common Threads.
Yes, with Chef Art Smith. Yes, he is fabulous.
One of my favorite days of my life was going into the kitchen with a bunch of 8 and 10-year-olds. And first of all, it was hilarious. Secondly, it was so inspiring to see these kids and how far they've come.
Right.
Here were kids from the inner city who really were never exposed to food. And I got to tell you, they were teaching me things.
Wow.
Yeah, we were doing Thai food, and I love Thai food. And these kids were popping out things left and right. Kids let's face it, they're vehicles for information.
Yes.
If you put them in the right environment, that's another great bit of advice right there is maybe get them involved in a cooking school or a cooking program where there are other children doing the same thing.
Yes.
Right now he might be an island, but there's several islands comprised of chefs out there.
An archipelago or whatever that
exactly. There's a lot of little cooks out there, especially today. I meet a lot of youngins that are really into cooking. So let them go. Let him
Great.
go.
That'll be terrific. And he might be there tomorrow at the beginning.
I can't wait to meet him. I'll give him a signed cookbook.
That will be great. Oh, and so many other questions that are coming up. Another listener, another Lynn actually, said she's interested in cooking more with fresh spices. She likes Indian food, curries, and fresh spices. Which ones should a mom cook purchase fresh and begin with for meats, chicken, and fish?
Well, there's so many out there, number one. I love, if you're going to start out just by experimenting, you can do that with like a chili powder or a turmeric curry. I always say when it comes to spice, mix what you like.
Okay.
So I have a little collection, just a small collection of spices, probably 300 in my kitchen. What you can do is just on your cutting board or on a platter, just put out the spices that, and just take a little bit of maybe sour cream and then add each spice. You don't have to do it all at once, but little by little. And then you can start to play with the flavors. And before you know it, you'll be mixing combinations and then adding, citrus or some even like smoky. And you can start to play. And there's so much information online when it comes to spices that can help her.
Yes.
But I say use the standards when you first start out.
Okay.
Use a great. I say turmeric. I say nutmeg. A cinnamon. this is one of the spices that people don't use enough, and they only use it in baking, is cinnamon.
Yes, with the sweets, but you can use it savory.
You could use it with savory. I use cinnamon on my in my brisket, on my chicken.
Wow.
You know, you can mix in these flavors that you think are only used for baking. Nutmeg can be used in your savory as well. Spices are so much fun. They're like paint to me.
They're like paint, and you have such an amazing palette. And listeners, and I am going to do a selfie picture so you can see a picture of Chef Jaime and me in his incredible kitchen. I mean, it's just gorgeous. The copper pans hung so neatly and artistically. It's
Thank
just
you know,
beautiful.
I have a wonderful kitchen in the sense that when you come into my house, you probably expect one of these ginormous gourmet kitchens. I set it up to where it's just what you need.
Yes.
And that's what should be, that's the way it should be in a kitchen.
Yes.
It should have flow, and I can cook for 100 people out of this small space. So I just want to let you know that if you have a small kitchen, or if you don't think you have a kitchen big enough to do what you think you need to do, believe me, it's not that difficult in a small space.
Oh, and it's just lovely. And actually, speaking of that, one of the listeners was saying, what is your favorite utensil in your kitchen that you love?
My favorite utensil would probably be I have a little spider, a little strainer.
I've heard about those.
Yeah, that's just something that you always need to have on hand. And I love my little fine grater for doing zest and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's a rough question for me because I use everything. But I think my most favorite would probably be that little strainer, baby strainer over there. You can skim things, you can skim fat off of your soups and things like that.
That thing that looks like a circle.
Yes.
And
I use that every day.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Well, that is just so cool. I'll try to, and I love the utensil holder on that as well, with all of the different cooking utensils. So, no, this is great.
Any
Yes. I have tons of questions, and real quickly, what is your favorite city for food?
Oof.
Megan had asked that. And who's your favorite chef besides yourself?
Wow. My favorite city easily is New Orleans.
I
love the energy and the spicy, sort of the voodoo behind the food over there. I love Emerald. I love Because of New Orleans.
Yes.
And I love Art Smith's country cooking.
Yes.
Art's a good friend of mine, a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll.
And I love his grits.
Oh, the shrimp and grits
Yes,
at his
Table
restaurant
52
is amazing.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I love that little restaurant, Table 52. There's a great brunch there. He's a wonderful person. He's a good egg.
He is, and it was so much fun. I'm in Chicago Gourmets, and he hosted this lovely event for Chef Van Aken.
Okay.
Yes, Norman Van Aken, and it was so much fun to have Southern and Key West.
I smell a cookbook happening with him. I feel like, there's a little bit, he's a little bit country, I'm a little bit rock and roll.
Yes.
I think we have a great energy together, so
And
one of these days we'll get together and do something
that
fun.
would be great, and for Common Threads, that would be a blast
Totally.
with that. And I want listeners, too, to have a fuller sense of who you are. You can constantly get bombarded with offers for these top chef competitions and all of that. Tell us, why you kind of say thank you, but no thanks.
To me, it's all about, again, I'll go back to the energy of it all. I don't compete with food.
Yeah.
I respect what they're doing. I respect all those shows, and I watch them. Not to say that I'd be a great judge on one of those shows, but to me, cooking is all about what you put into it. I'm a very sensitive person when I'm in the kitchen.
Yes.
I just don't compete with food. I don't want to add any anxiety or any fear or any sweat. My food is not about that. So I get a lot of people asking me to do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, It's just not my. It's not my forte.
Food is for comfort and not
is.
for competition.
Exactly.
I think that's great. And the most exotic food you've ever eaten?
Oof, that's a great question too. I've eaten it all.
And that was from Chrissy.
Yeah, Chrissy. Not to say that I've ever eaten newts or anything like that. It's nothing scary. The squid ink risotto. When I first tasted a squid ink risotto, I thought, okay, this is going to be gross, but I loved it. I've eaten rattlesnake.
Oh, what was that like?
In the Grand Canyon. I've prepared it. Tastes like chicken.
Oh, okay.
It was a surprise. Not that I would eat it again. It's just something that came across my cutting board.
It came across your cutting board. I love it. And what spice do you use with the rattlesnake?
A lot of spice. You want to use something spicy. You want to use a lot of paprika. And a lot of, I used a really strong smoked chili powder.
Oh.
And then we batter fried it. And it was actually kind of yummy. And I made a good cabbage slaw with it, with pineapple. So that cut through the spice and through the venom.
And through the venom. Oh, my heavens. I didn't even think about the venom. Can you get rid of that?
Oh, yeah. That's something that's not in there.
Oh, okay. I guess it cooks off like wine or something.
It's not even in there. The venom comes out of the fangs.
Oh, out of the fangs. Okay.
Right.
Oh, this is so fun. Oh, Chef Jaime, I could just go on and on with you. We'll have to have another kitchen chat.
I'd love to talk.
soon.
So listen, I'm game.
This is just delightful. And one last question. I'm looking at your beautiful built-in refrigerator. What are some favorite things you like to keep stocked?
Okay, so always have good butter.
Mm-hmm.
I use a Plugra butter. I always have great farm fresh eggs.
Mm-hmm.
I get my eggs from a friend of mine who raises chickens. I always have a good heavy cream.
Okay.
All of the staples. If I opened up my refrigerator right now, you'd actually be shocked because I don't keep much in there.
Oh.
I usually bring in what I'm going to cook that day. I don't like things sitting around too long. I usually go out and pick my favorite, things that are resonating a certain energy to me. But I think that the basics. Just keep the basics in there, and you'll be fine. I don't like these overly stocked refrigerators, especially with leftovers. I usually get rid of them. I like things fresh.
Great. And do you plan on the spur of the moment when you see zucchini in the produce aisle,
I gotta tell you, this is funny. I've been cooking for many, many years, and especially on the road. And a lot of chefs plan their menus. And I'm gonna give you a secret: I've never done it.
Wow.
Never. I usually order a bunch of ingredients and let them tell me what to do. My favorite question is, where does it come from?
Yes.
That's what I ask myself at the end of the day. Where does it come from? And I think there's a higher power that's looking over me. Maybe it's my. I was on Twitter with my mom this morning, and she was saying that I had a great grandmother who used to poach her eggs in tomato sauce, and I never knew that.
Wow.
And I was doing it this morning. So maybe it's coming from, and listen to that.
Yes,
bolt
we
of
just
thunder.
had a bolt. Yes, a hug from heaven.
A hug from heaven.
As
Where does
I
it come
call
from?
it.
Heaven,
Yes.
I'm sure. So.
Oh, that is so great. Well, this has just been so much fun, Chef Jaime, being in your kitchen and seeing your great products and hearing about your book and everything. And you co-wrote a book with Sarah McLachlan.
Right. And I'm writing 2 more cookbooks right now.
Oh, wonderful.
And, when it comes to me, what I'm first doing right now, for a long time, I've been focusing on other people and other celebrities. And being on the road. I'm kind of off the road and into your home right now. So look out for me to be the next big culinary rock star.
Yes.
I'm going to do it in a way where, I want to make friends with the people that follow me. And it's all going to be from the heart of the home. So remember that, when it comes to me being a chef, I'm very passionate about that. I'm also a designer.
Yes.
And we talked about that. But, I want to give you, I'm sort of maybe I'm Martha Stewart's illegitimate son. I don't really know. But I want to come at you from a lot of different angles with the energy and the love that I have for all things good and all things in good taste.
Yes. And you truly are an ambassador of good taste in so many ways, and just such a great example of being positive, being passionate, not giving up, and just keeping the faith and knowing that there is really good out there.
Right, and in these times, I encourage people to, hold on to all of the good things. And I'm so grateful that you're here in my house today. I wanted you to be here so you can experience not only this beautiful thunderstorm and rainstorm that we need out here in the Midwest, but just the energy of my home and the simplicity of just some of the things that are here. You don't have to have a lot of money to live a good life.
Right.
You can just be, live simply and within your means. And like I said, 3 things in perfect harmony: the food, the mood, the music. And it's kind of like having the wishbone in your hand, to share with someone else. I think you can have a wonderful life if you're in tune with everything in good taste.
Exactly. And if we were to pair a song with our interview today, what do you think that would be?
Sarah McLachlan's I Will Remember You.
Oh.
Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. We look for the memory.
Oh,
so
big goosebump moment. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's all about what you leave behind.
Yes.
So if you're going to leave anything behind, we don't know. I mean, look what happened with that the poor people in Boston. You never know what your last minute's going to be. Here were people that were going to, run. Always leave something good behind. And your last moment is your moment right now. People ask me, what's your favorite meal? What's your next, what's the thing and I say it's my favorite meal is always going to be the one that I'm cooking tonight.
Oh.
So, you can, if you're going to leave anything behind, leave behind a good dish, a good memory.
I love that, and great taste as well.
Thank you.
So, Chef Jaime, this has just been so delightful, such an honor, a true honor, and I just love this kitchen chat. And listeners, I'm going to provide links to the Wings event tomorrow, as well as to Chef Jaime's website, Twitter. Oh my goodness, he's just a great resource of recipes and fabulous styles of life. And I can't wait to meet his precious dog. I'm looking forward to meeting.
My Australian cattle dogs are in another room because they beg me for treats. See, even my dogs want something.
Yes,
exactly. And I serve them, some homemade goodies every now and then too. But thank you so much for coming to my home.
Thank you,
Chef and thank you guys
Jaime.
for listening. And look out for some great things coming from my kitchen and from my life experience.
Yes.
And always remember that if you believe you can have your dream be, it's right in front of you. It always is. Just reach out and grab it. And thank you for listening, guys. I love you so much. And I look forward to hearing from you on my Twitter, chefjamielarita.com. Please check out my website, Chef Jaime Laurita, and I will see you all soon, hopefully at Wings. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And listeners, thank you for coming into the kitchen today. And as I always end each show, I just want to kind of echo what Chef Jaime's saying in my own little words, which is sit down and savor the day.
Thank you for joining us today. If you're interested in Margaret's books, Pearl Girls, Mother of Pearl, Aftermath, A Mother's Heart Knows, Encountering Grit, Experiencing Grace, and Go Back and Be Happy, please just click on the covers on the webtalkradio.net page right in front of you. Margaret would love to connect with you and to hear from you. So join her on Facebook, Twitter, her blog, or click on this website to leave her a note and tell her about one of your adventures. We'll see you next week right here on Truffles and Tribulations.